Hey everyone, welcome back. We're doing something a little different today, something really exciting.
Really diving deep, you could say.
Exactly. We're using this really interesting Tech Talk Nexus podcast episode as a jumping off point.
They called it the future of work in the age of AI.
Yeah.
Catchy, right?
Totally. And it got us thinking, everyone's worried about robots taking over.
Which, let's be honest, is a little freaky.
It totally is. But this deep dive, it's all about getting past the scary headlines.
And arming ourselves with real information.
Exactly. So we can understand how AI will really change things for us, in the world of work.
And the thing is, it's not some distant sci-fi movie anymore,
Right. Like AI is already everywhere.
Behind the scenes in a lot of ways. But yeah, it's already changing how industries operate.
For sure. Like those robots we see on assembly lines, those huge manufacturing plants.
Right. But it goes way beyond that. Like even in finance, algorithms are making decisions in milliseconds.
It's mind-blowing. It makes you think, like, will my job even exist in 5 years?
It's a valid fear. And this podcast, it actually reminded me of the Industrial Revolution.
Whoa. Okay, big comparison. How so?
Think about it. Back then, people freaked out about machines replacing farm work.
Which, to be fair, they kind of did.
They did. But it wasn't the end. New jobs, new industries, they popped up that no one could have imagined.
That's true. It's like we can't even picture what the jobs of the future will be.
Exactly. And this time, it's not just about physical jobs, it's about skills across all industries.
So true. This podcast, it kept using this word augmentation. Kind of a mouthful, but it makes sense.
Right, it's like AI isn't here to replace us, it's here to make us better.
It's like AI being your superpowered assistant or something.
Exactly. Imagine a doctor, right? AI could analyze medical images super fast, way faster than a human.
Which frees up the doctor to, actually spend time with the patient, right?
Yes. Or architects using AI to generate design options, handling all the technical details.
And the architect can focus on the creative vision, the big picture.
Exactly. So it's not about AI taking jobs. It's about AI transforming how we work.
It's like that moment when you get a new phone, all those fancy features.
But you got to learn how to use them.
Totally. It's like that, but on a much bigger scale, like even with customer service.
Oh, tell me you haven't seen those AI chatbots popping up everywhere.
Every website I go to. But you know what? Sometimes they're actually helpful.
Right. And that's the point.
Yeah.
Let AI handle the basic stuff, the repetitive questions.
And then the human reps are free to deal with the really tricky issues, the ones that need a human touch.
Exactly. It's like this whole AI thing, it forces us to adapt, to learn new things.
Which is where that whole lifelong learning thing comes in, right? They talked about that in the podcast.
Yeah. It's not just about learning one skill and calling it a day. It's about constantly evolving.
It's like the world is changing so fast now, we've got to be ready to change with it.
And the skills that'll be in demand. Some of them are obvious, like data analysis.
Even if you're not a tech person, data is everywhere now.
Exactly. And digital marketing, that's another big one.
So is everyone going to have to become a coder now or something?
Not necessarily. Coding is definitely helpful, but there's another set of skills that are just as important.
Okay, I'm listening. What's the secret sauce? Spill the tea.
Those uniquely human skills, the ones that robots can't replicate yet.
You mean like creativity and empathy and all that good stuff?
Yes. Those are what we call soft skills, and they're becoming more valuable than ever.
Makes sense. Like AI can crunch numbers, but it can't understand a joke,
Exactly. Or build a relationship, or inspire a team. Those are human skills.
It's like the more AI advances, the more we need to lean into what makes us human.
And that's actually a good thing, I think. It's pushing us to be better versions of ourselves.
I like that. So it's not just about the work we do, but how we do it and even where we do it.
Exactly. Like remote work is exploding, the gig economy is booming.
It's a whole new world of work out there.
And that comes with its own set of challenges, of course, but also incredible opportunities.
It's exciting and a little overwhelming all at the same time.
For sure. But that's why we're here to break it all down, step by step.
Exactly. And you know what? One thing that really stuck with me from the podcast?
What's that?
It's not just on us to figure this whole AI thing out, Businesses have a role to play, too.
Absolutely. They're the ones implementing these AI systems, after all.
Exactly. So it's not just about adopting AI. It's about adopting it responsibly.
100%. And making sure it benefits everyone, not just a select few. But we can dive into that more after the break.
Yes. Let's take a quick pause to gather our thoughts. We'll be right back to unpack even more about the future of work, so don't go anywhere. And we're back, diving even deeper into this whole AI future of work thing.
It's funny. Before we started, I was thinking about those old sci-fi movies.
The ones with, like, robots taking over the world.
Exactly. And now here we are talking about AI like it's just another part of life.
It's kind of surreal, right? But that's the thing. AI is becoming part of everyday life.
And that's why it's so important to talk about it, to understand it.
Absolutely. Okay, so before the break, we were talking about the role of businesses.
Right, about how they need to step up and, I don't want to say control the AI, but...
Guide it. Steer it in the right direction.
Exactly. It's like they have this huge responsibility now.
Because they're the ones who are actually bringing AI into the workplace, right?
Precisely. It's not enough to just, like, buy the coolest new AI software and call it a day.
It's like you wouldn't buy a Ferrari and then just, I don't know, not learn how to drive it.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're doing, need to have a plan.
And part of that plan is making sure the AI is used ethically.
Right, huge part. That's something they talked about a lot in that Tech Talk Nexus episode.
Like making sure the AI isn't biased, that it's treating everyone fairly.
Exactly. And that's not something you can just assume will happen automatically.
Right. It takes human oversight, someone to keep an eye on things.
And that's another job opportunity, by the way. AI ethicist. How cool does that sound?
Wait, seriously, are those actual jobs?
They are. Or they will be. Someone's got to make sure these AI systems are playing by the rules.
Makes sense. It's like we have safety regulations for all kinds of things.
Exactly. So why not for AI? It's powerful stuff. We got to be careful with it.
I'm starting to realize this whole AI thing is creating a whole new world of work.
Oh, absolutely. And some of it we can't even imagine yet. It's kind of mind-blowing.
Like, what are people going to be doing in 20 years? What kind of jobs will exist?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
But that's the exciting part, isn't it?
It's definitely exciting and a little scary, if I'm being honest.
Oh, for sure. But you know what helps with the scariness? Knowledge.
True that. So let's talk about some of the positive things AI is already doing.
Oh, there are tons. Like in healthcare, it's amazing what they're doing with AI.
I've heard about that, like using AI to diagnose diseases, right?
Yes. Things that would take a human doctor way longer to spot, AI can pick up on instantly.
That's amazing. It's like having a superpower for your health.
And it's not just about catching things early, it's about personalized treatment too.
So could AI actually help us live longer, healthier lives?
That's the goal. And in other fields like education.
Oh yeah, I've heard about AI tutors. Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. Imagine every student having a tutor who knows exactly how they learn best.
That's incredible. No more one-size-fits-all teaching methods.
And that's just the beginning. AI can help personalize our work lives too.
Like, having an AI assistant who organizes your day reminds you of deadlines.
Yes. Or even suggest projects that align with your skills and interests.
Wow, that would be amazing. No more feeling lost in a sea of emails and to-do lists.
And think about the creative potential. AI could help us brainstorm ideas, break through writer's block.
It's like having a thought partner, someone to bounce ideas off of 24/7.
Exactly. And that's what I think gets lost in all the talk about robots taking over.
It's not about replacing humans. It's about augmenting what we can do.
Exactly. AI gives us the freedom to be more human, to focus on what we're good at.
To be more creative, more strategic, more ourselves, really.
That's beautifully put, and it all comes back to that idea of lifelong learning.
We've got to be willing to adapt, to learn new things, to evolve alongside the technology.
And the good news is, there's so many resources out there to help us do just that.
Exactly. And maybe that's a good place to leave things for now. We've covered so much ground.
We have, from the nitty-gritty of how AI works to the big philosophical questions.
It's a lot to process. But one thing's for sure, this conversation is far from over.
Oh, absolutely. And in our final segment, we're going to bring it all together.
Yes. We'll unpack the key takeaways, the things you absolutely need to know to navigate this AI-powered future. Stick around.
Okay, deep breaths of everyone, we're back.
And, after all that, my head is kind of spinning.
I hear you. We've covered so much ground, from like the tiniest details of AI to these huge existential questions.
It's a lot, but isn't it amazing how much this whole AI thing makes you think?
It totally changes your perspective, right? Like AI isn't just some tech thing anymore.
It's about us, about what it means to be human in this increasingly automated world.
And that's what's so fascinating about that Tech Talk Nexus episode,
Totally. They didn't shy away from the big question.
Not at all. And one thing they kept coming back to is this idea of empowerment.
Empowerment. Okay, I'm intrigued. How so?
It's easy to feel like AI is this, unstoppable force, right?
Yeah.
Like we're just along for the ride.
Oh, totally. Especially with all the headlines about robots taking over jobs and stuff.
Right, exactly. But that podcast, it flipped the script for me a bit.
In what way?
It's not about being afraid of the future. It's about creating the future we want.
Okay, now that's a message I can get behind.
And it starts with understanding AI, not just how it works, but how it impacts us.
Like how it changes the way we work, the skills we need, all of that.
Yes. And the even bigger picture, how does AI change what it means to work? What does success look like in this new world?
It's like we're rewriting the rules of the game as we go. So where do we even begin?
They said it in the podcast, lifelong learning.
There it is again. It feels like that's the key to, everything these days.
Right. It's not just about, learning how to code or whatever. It's about being curious, being adaptable.
Being okay with not having all the answers, which honestly can be a little scary.
It totally can. But that's where those uniquely human skills come in. The creativity, the problem solving, the empathy.
The things robots can't do. At least not yet, right?
Right. And maybe never will. And that's kind of reassuring, don't you think?
It is. No matter how advanced AI gets, there will always be a need for that human touch.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with this thought.
Okay, get us with it.
If AI can handle the repetitive, the mundane,
yeah,
what does that free us up to do?
Ooh, that's a good one. To focus on the things we're passionate about. To be more creative. To connect with each other on a deeper level.
Exactly. It's about using AI as a tool, a powerful tool, to create a better future for ourselves and for the world.
It's about stepping into our power as humans and shaping the future we want to see.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
I think we nailed it this time. A huge thank you to everyone for joining us on this incredible journey into the future of work.
It's been a blast. And remember, the future isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace.
So go out there, be curious, be adaptable, and keep those amazing human brains of yours firing on all cylinders. Until next time.